All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I'm back again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that you guys are staying safe. So today you guys, so I did want to say I tried to do this video twice. So I feel like the third time will be a charm, you all. But basically, my name is Joy, and I am a narcissist abuse coach. I've been dealing with narcissists since 2006, and since 2017, I have been helping former victims, now survivors, heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. And just so you know, I have been helping hundreds and thousands of, former victims and survivors, with my coaching, with my support sessions, with my courses, just really kind of gain awareness of the abuse, helping them to heal, helping them to get clarity, confirmation, and validate their experience. So that way, that can help them for future reference. So it's truly been a journey. For those of you that are new, me personally, I've dealt with three narcissists that kind of led me on this journey. One being my aunt, who I lived with for 5 years. Second being a male narc that I live with, or excuse me, that I was connected with while living with my aunt, but I was connected to this male narc, and I was dealing with him for about 4 years. And also had a person that I worked with many, many years back in 2016, who was a borderline personality disorder individual. Only dealt with him for about 4 months, so that was good. That didn't last too long. It wasn't years in regards to that, but that kind of led me on this path to, helping others, overcome their abusers in toxic situations and things like that. So, but anyway, you guys, I've been really wanting to talk about this for a while. I wanted to talk about some of the things that the narcissist doesn't want you to know. And also I wanted to I wanted to talk more about the narc family cult secrets. The reason why I love this is because, when you are around a narcissist, they could be hiding things from you. They may be keeping things really close to their chest. And some of these things are actually very important for you to know about, because a lot of times it'll actually help you to break free from the abuse. It'll help you to break free from their control, from their manipulation. It'll help you to break free of whatever bond or whatever soul ties you may have, or whatever attachments or whatever addictions that you may have with the narcissist. It's really going to help you to understand the situation and to kind of see it clearly without any confusion, without any smoke screens, without any tactics and gaslighting and things like that. So you can see clearly the situation and what's going on. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times the narcissists, they do have their tactics where, again, they're manipulating their victims, they're gaslighting them, they're giving them the silent treatment, and they're confusing them as well. And they're also using spiritual ways in which they can keep their victims stuck and trapped when it comes to understanding what's going on. So let's talk about some things that the narcissist doesn't want you to know about, and maybe some things that you should know that the narcissist doesn't want you to. So the narcissist may not want you to know that, and I've kind of talked about this before, but they could actually be dibbling and dabbling in spiritual divination to get results, right? So for some, they could be using black magic, they could be doing spell work, they could be doing certain rituals, and they may try to hire people on the outside to get a certain result, or to get a certain relationship, or to get a certain outcome of a situation. They could say curses over your life and speak things over, whether it's your life or if it's over someone else's life. They may begin to do certain things. Like it's kind of like a desperate measure. It's a desperate measure that they may try to do in order to get something or someone, and things like that. A lot of times too is that they will twist your words. So let's say you're speaking up about the narcissist and you're speaking your truth, you're asserting yourself, you're speaking your mind, and you're speaking your truth. sometimes the narcissist will take that information and they'll use it against their another victim, so that way they can better abuse that person, or they can better control that person, or they can better confuse that individual, so that way they don't see clearly what's going on. And then other times they may try to twist your words, what you're saying is the truth, right? And they may try to tell other people what they want it to be, and they may make the story how they may try to flip the story to where they can play the victim, or they can play the sympathy card and try to make it seem like you're doing something to them when you're actually just revealing the truth. You get what I'm saying? So just be careful that the narcissist will twist your words, flip it, and sometimes they'll do word salads, or they'll try to play little games and things like that to try to confuse people, and stuff like that, right? Another thing, that the narcissist doesn't want you to know about is that they could be doing and saying things behind your back that you have no clue. They may be making up lies. They could be making up stories. They could be having false accusations against you, throwing your name in the dirt, just really trying to ruin your reputation, and just really, trying to make it seem like you're something and you're not, and a lot of times what the narcissist is doing is they're projecting. So whatever the narcissist is doing, whatever it is that, they're secretly guilty of doing, they are going to say that you're doing that because they have to make themselves look good. They have to make it seem like they're innocent and they're actually guilty, right? And that's another thing. A narcissist will try to make it seem like they're not doing anything, right? Like they're not doing little sneaky stuff behind the scenes. Like they're not trying to, bully, intimidate, and antagonize a person, an innocent person. They may try to make it seem like they're not doing that, because what they'll do is they'll get other people to do it for them, right? Or they'll get like a flying monkey, or an agent or a minion, whoever they have pillow talk with, or whoever they have phone conversations about, whatever the situation was. They have gotten that, they kind of brainwashed that person, or they manipulated that person into believing their story. So in turn, that person is going to want to, do something, and they'll take the narcissist side, and they'll begin to do whatever the narcissist says, right? So they'll begin to follow you around. They may harass you. They may try to intimidate you and bully you. They'll get other people to do it, but the narcissist will do it too, but they may get like 2 or 3 or other people doing the same thing and things like that. You know what I mean? So, that's just something to be careful of. And, yeah, they'll do that kind of stuff. And then also the narcissist, what they don't want you to know is that secretly, like I said, they'll try to plot on you. And let's say they're doing something to you, right? If they're feeling like, oh, it's not working, then they may try to do it in different ways. They may try different ways of doing the same thing because they feel like something is going to work, a plan that they have in their mind. They may think that it's going to work. So they're like, oh, let's try it this way, or let's try it that way. You get what I'm saying? So they'll have different ways for doing the same thing. They'll tell whoever maybe they paid somebody to get rid of someone, or they may try to sacrifice somebody, right? And they're like, oh, the person is still here. You get what I'm saying? And so every day they'll keep doing the same thing because, they're trying to get a certain result, or they're trying to get a certain relationship, or they're trying to get some money out of somebody. You get what I'm saying? So, they may feel like a certain person is in the way of that. So they're like, oh, I need you to get rid of this person for me. They'll set a plan like that. You get what I'm saying? Or vice versa. And so, you just want to be aware of that. And another thing that the narcissist doesn't want you to know is that, obviously they secretly hate you, right? They secretly hate you, but at the same time, they will admire you, because again, and I understand that, there's different people watching me. As I said earlier, I know that there's narcissists watching, and I know that there's, people wanting to know like what goes on, in a narcissist's mind, like how they operate, why they do what they do, and things like that. So there's different types of people watching. So this is how you can tell that a person is a narcissist, right? Because let's say you're listening into this, right? And you're not a narcissist. Obviously, you're not going to get offended. You're not going to get upset because you're going to be like, hey, you know what? I think I may have a person around me that could be a narc. You get what I'm saying? Or if you don't, you may just take it in and be like, oh, okay, this is good information to know. You get what I'm saying? Versus a person that's a narcissist, if they're listening to this because they're trying to get information or they're trying to figure out what you know, then they'll take it in and they'll get upset or they'll get triggered or they'll be angry, and they'll start to gossip and, saying all this stuff, or they'll try to get you frustrated or annoyed because they know that you're speaking up about what they're doing behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying? So that's how you can tell a person that's a narc versus a person that is just innocently listening in, or they need the information, or they could be a victim of this abuse. You get what I'm saying? So that's how you can know who's a narc and who's not, Now, another thing, again, the narcissist does stuff behind the scenes. So they're very sneaky. They're very sneaky individuals. You know, Another thing the narc doesn't want you to know is that they're liars and they're cheaters, right? So the narcissists around you, they will cheat on you, or they'll cheat on their spouse, or they'll cheat on their girlfriend or their boyfriend, or they'll cheat on their wife or their husband. These individuals, as I said before, they're not to be trusted, and anybody who is around the narcissist is not to be trusted, because a lot of times, if you see a person around the narcissist, 9 times out of 10, either they're smearing you or they're smearing somebody that you know. And it's like, think about it. If they're doing that to one person, who's to say they're not going to do that to you? You get what I'm saying? And whoever they are around, they're going to try to use those people against you. You get what I'm saying? Or just like how they use your words against you, and how they'll try to flip it to make it to whatever narrative that they have. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm only saying this based off of what I have learned and what I have experienced dealing with narcissists. So this is all experience. You get what I'm saying? What I'm speaking to you guys, what I've learned and what I've seen. Like, I've seen most narcissists behave the same way. They all do the same thing, so, but yeah, they're cheaters. They cheat on their spouses. They're very reckless. Another thing the narcissist doesn't want you to know is that they have sex addictions. So they need sex all the time. They need it constant. Now, don't get me wrong, sex, we all love sex. Like, you get what I'm saying? But what a narcissist, it's more excessive, right? Just like how the narcissist needs excessive attention, or if they have a plan and they're trying to do it excessively, they think that it's going to work, or, they may have sex excessively, or they may try to get your attention excessively, or they may try to annoy you excessively, or they may try to call you or text you excessively, or they may try to blackmail you excessively. Like, they're always doing it over and 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 over again, like that, right? So that's another way you can tell that a person is a narcissist as well, right? But yeah, they will lie and they will cheat on their spouses. They have no respect for their relationships. They don't have any respect for their bodies. They don't have any respect for other people. They don't care, like, who they hurt. They don't care however they're behaving or however they're acting, how it's going to affect another person. They don't care how it's going to affect their family. They don't care how it's going to affect their children and things like that. As long, in their mind, they say, as long as I get what I want, or as long as I get this relationship, or as long as I get this money, or as long as I get these resources from this person or from this, whatever they're trying to do, then that's all they care about. That's their focus. Or they're like, oh, as long as this person doesn't get this person, then I'm good, or I'm happy, or whatever the case is. You get what I'm saying? So that's another thing to keep in mind. And then they'll compete with you. They'll be jealous of you. Another thing too, though, the narcissist, what they don't want you to know is that, let's say if you were everly romantically involved with them, or you were sexually active with them, they do not want to see you move on and be happy with someone else. They do not want to see you with another person. They feel like they're entitled to you, they're entitled to your time, they're entitled to your attention, and you don't deserve to be with no one else. They feel like they were the best that you've ever had. And if they feel like you're trying to be with someone else, they're going to try to, antagonize that other person and get that person to, they're going to try to get you guys to stop talking to each other. They're going to get other people involved to try to stop you guys from, from having some sort of like friendship or connection. Like they don't want to see that, because at the end of the day, they're already miserable anyway. They've made mistakes and they've made bad decisions. So they feel like if they've done that, then you have to do that too. They've already settled for less. So they feel like you have to do that too. They're already miserable and unhappy. So they feel like you have to be the same way. So they have that where they're trying to control you. They have that sense of, if I can't have you, then nobody else can. That's how they literally think. And sometimes it turns violent. Sometimes it turns deadly in some cases. Like I said, they'll stalk you, they'll harass you, they'll call you, they'll text you, they'll have other people do it. They may try to get your friends involved or their friends involved or their family members involved, or they'll turn to spiritual stuff and things like that to try to get a certain outcome, instead of just when, a lot of times most of this could have been avoided, if the narcissist just owns up to their faults, that if they take responsibility for their actions, if they own up to their mistakes and say, hey, you know what? I shouldn't be doing this. I need to focus on my own life. I need to focus on my own family instead of worrying about what someone else is doing. I should take all that energy and put it back on myself and better myself. But, the narcissist is not going to do that. They don't want to do the work. They rather blame someone else. They rather scapegoat somebody else because, then that way, if they were to admit like normal people and take responsibility, then they realize like, hey, they're not perfect. Like, hey, I need to work on myself. But the narcissists, they don't like to admit that because they're perfect. They have this big sense of ego. They have this God complex and they feel like they're bigger than God. It's like, no one's bigger than God. No one is more powerful than God. So we always have to be mindful of that at all times, So yeah, you do want to be mindful of that. I hope that this was helpful here. I don't want to make this video too long, but I do want to just make sure that I can share with you guys some things that the narcissist doesn't want you to know. And again, if they feel like you've hurt them, they have this whole revenge thing. They're going to escalate a revenge plan and plot, and things like that. They're going to try to hurt you because they feel like you hurt them and, and stuff like that. And again, they're all about the control. They're all about controlling you. They don't want you to know that they want to control you. Like they don't want you to know that they're manipulating you because they're trying to get something from you, right? And the other thing is the narcissist doesn't want you to know is that they'll try to kill two birds with one stone, right? So let's say that they're after you in some way, in a way in which they want something from you. Let's say you provided the narcissist something, whether it was sex, money, resources, or, support. It could have been emotional support. Maybe you provided that to the narcissist and maybe you stopped doing it, and, or let's say they had a plan where, let's say you started talking, you and the narcissist were talking, right? And then you guys decided to go your separate ways. And let's say, you had another friend or you had someone else that you took interest in, or it was just like, oh, we're just buddies. And the narcissist finds out about that. What the narcissist will do, let's say they have a group of people that surround them. And what the narcissist will say to their friends, they'll say, oh, I bet I can get that person back. They'll make a bet. And, what they'll do is, every day they'll have something to where they're trying to get whoever they want to get back. They'll try to kiss up to them, and say all these nice things and, try to like slither their way back into that individual's life. But behind the scenes, they could be, antagonizing whoever that person's friend is, or they have a connection with. They could be antagonizing that person. They could be trying to get on that person's nerves, frustrate them, make them upset, try to make them react and things like that. They'll be doing that every day, or they'll have somebody else doing that because they probably told a group of people like, oh, I bet I can get that person back. Oh, I bet I can take that person away from that individual. You get what I'm saying? So they'll have a plan like that, and then so that's the reason why they're doing this stuff, because they have a point to prove to people, right? And then since they have already smeared, your name or whoever else's name, then that's why they do what they do every day. You get what I'm saying? It's a whole scheme, it's a whole plan. You get what I'm saying? And so they'll try to kill. They will try to kill two birds with one stone, basically. So they'll be trying to get someone else back, but then they'll be trying to get rid of someone else, if that makes sense. Because whoever that they feel like they want back, they may have, other people that, they're friends with or whatever, but they feel like whoever that person is talking to, they may feel like they're a threat. And the narcissist feels like they have to get rid of them. And so they could have actually paid somebody. They may have said to a person like, hey man, like we got to get rid of this person. They could be like, oh, that person is still here. That person is still here, and this and that. And it's like an everyday thing. You get what I'm saying? And, like that, those are the type of plans and plots and schemes that the narcissist will do to individuals. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to be careful with these people. They're not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted. So those are some of the things that you may not know that the narcissist doesn't want you to know. Like I said, it's really good to know these things because, like I said, you can really learn to arm yourself and protect yourself from these type of individuals that don't have your best interests, that don't mean you any well, and that are just trying to use you, literally just use you, suck you dry, and manipulate you and control you. And it's just like I said previously, like you're not trying to do this to the narcissist. You're not trying to control them. You're not trying to manipulate them. If anything, you probably just wanted a connection with them. You just was friends, or maybe you could have seen yourself with the narcissist, but they probably revealed to you certain things. You're just like, hold on one second. Let me grab some water, y'all. Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. They probably revealed some things to you and you were just like, I'm good. But the thing is that another thing the narcissist doesn't want to let you know, they can't take rejection, right? They're not able to take rejection well, or they don't like to take no for an answer. So let's say again, you may be, let's say you had a connection with the narcissist, or maybe you were intimate with them, or maybe it was a situationship, friends with benefits, whatever the case may be, and now maybe the narc may want something more, or the narc wants to try to trap you or something like that. So they may, try to do whatever. And then you may say, no, I'm good. The narcissist doesn't like to hear the word no. They don't take no for an answer. And so again, they have this whole plan where they're going to try to change your mind. They're going to try to get other people involved and things like that, try to escalate it. You know what I mean? And then another times, again, they may try to trap you. So let's say they may say, or they may try to get you to get them pregnant, or they may say, oh, well, I want a family, or whatever the case is, or they may try to get you to have sex with them or have a baby with them, or, whatever that may be, they're going to try to get you stuck, or like use you in some way to the point where they feel like, oh, I got a place in that person's life, or, oh, I got them, or, you know what I'm saying? So you just, like I said, just have to be careful with these type of individuals and, their schemes and the plots that they have behind the scenes, so yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Now I kind of wanted to switch over to when we talk about the narcissistic family cult, I want to talk about some secrets and some things that I have actually heard some narcs tell me. Well, one particular narc mentioned that they have done this, and this actually could go for all narcs, because as I mentioned, they all do the same thing. But let's talk about what's our narcissistic family cult. Let's get into that, and we'll probably do like a part 3 as well. But basically, what are narcissistic family cults? So let's talk about what they do. So, narcissistic parents tend to be abusive, erratic towards their children. Meanwhile, siblings who share their narcissisms tend to be highly favored by their parent over other children. Having a relationship with a narcissistic family member, this could lead to chronic gaslighting. All right. So, what is a cult like behavior in a family? So, dependence. A dysfunctional family makes its members weaker in many of the same ways that a cult makes its members weaker. In both contexts, members' anatomy, critical thinking, identity, and dignity are suppressed or distorted to serve the needs of those in control. So, the matriarch and the patriarch, basically. So, what is the narcissist cult of personality? So, how does the cult, what's their personality like? So, the narcissist claims to be inflatable, superior, talented, skillful, omnipotent. I hope I'm saying that right. And that's pretty much it. It says he often lies and confabulates to support these unfound claims. Within his cult, he expects all admiration and constant attention with his outlandish stories and assertion. Now, and the other thing that the narcissist doesn't want you to know is that they need your attention. They need your attention on them all the time. And if they feel like you're not giving them any attention, they're going to lash out. They're going to go crazy, or they're going to, start some sort of drama, or do whatever it is that they can to get your attention. They're going to try to hold on to you for dear life. They're not going to let you go easily. They're going to try to really make it hard for you to, get rid of them. Because eventually it's going to have to come down where you literally have to you have to get rid of them. Essentially, again, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but they take it to that point to where it gets really toxic. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, but yeah, let's talk about what goes on in the cult here. So it says feelings are wrong. So you're not allowed to have any feelings. I remember my aunt used to make me feel that way. Like certain feelings I wasn't able to have. I remember when I was living with her at one time, I had a different type of feeling. I remember I was sitting on the bed and she was talking to me, and I told her how I was feeling, and she was like, "Oh, it's not okay to feel that way." So they'll say, "Oh, you shouldn't feel this way," or don't do this, don't do that. The emotional dysregulation here is characteristic by the inability to be flexible to respond to and manage emotional states. So basically, the members in the cult, they're not able to regulate their emotions. So they have, like I said, outbursts. They can't control themselves. Sometimes they may be schizophrenia or schizophrenic. So 1 minute they're happy, next minute they're going off the wall. 1 minute they're yelling and screaming, the next minute they're laughing, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's saying results in intense and prolonged emotional reactions that deviate from social norms and things like that. But yeah, unpredictable emotional charge environment on a narcissistic household can make it difficult to manage emotions. And it also says the family secrets almost certainly include the fact that the children's emotional needs are not being met. And then sometimes what happens is the children, since the needs aren't being met in the household, they may seek that from outside sources as well. which is the reason why a lot of them get so codependent on their friends, or they get so codependent on their partners, or, associates and things like that, because they didn't get that in the home. But, that's actually something that they have to deal with, right? There's not any excuse for any of that type of stuff. But yeah, so someone must be blamed for the problem. So hence the scapegoat. So you have a lot of that going on in the narcissistic family cult. There's no safety in the cult as well. There's a lot of instances where there's an atmosphere of a lot of fear, ongoing mistreatment, the scapegoat. There's routines of neglect. There's no safety. There's a lot of abandonment. There's a lot of screaming, yelling, fighting, arguing all the time, a lot of gossip, a lot of drama in regards to that cult there, which is why a lot of times that's the reason why the narcissist is always, whether they're being loud all the time or they're like gossiping or they're trying to start arguments and stuff like that, is because that's what that was their household growing up. That's all they know. They don't know anything different. You get what I'm saying? So that's how they were raised, type of thing. And they were made to think that that's normal, and it's not. So the other thing is this is good. Lack of boundaries. So, the narcissist doesn't respect boundaries because, in the cult, and we'll talk about this in another video, but in the cult, there's no respect and boundaries. So, everyone is in everybody's business. There's no independence. There's no privacy. It's just a lack of respect for, people's personal privacy, their personal interests in their personal life and things like that. Everybody has to, know what it is that you're doing and who you're like talking to, or, your business and things like that. Because sometimes you may not want to share certain stuff with certain people, but when you're in a cult, it's like, no, we got to know everything. We got to know who you're talking to. We got to know this and that and stuff, so you have that. So, let's see. Yeah, all the boundaries are ignored. There's a lack of privacy for everyone but the narcissist. Parentification of children, so where the narcissist tries to turn their children into parents and the narc becomes the parent. And so that happens all the time, or where they try to use their children as emotional confidants. So with the mothers, they'll try to turn their sons into their boyfriends, and then the fathers try to turn their daughters into their girlfriends. And there's a lot of enmeshment, a lot of like things that go on behind the scenes, that they tell people like, hush, hush, don't say anything. If you do, you get what I'm saying? They do a lot of that. And, they put this fear in the members in the cult to not say anything, because a lot of times there is a lot of fear, guilt, and obligation, or sometimes, well, we'll talk about this a little bit, but there's abuse that goes on behind the scenes. Sometimes the kids get hit, they get abused, they get beaten every night. They get violated. Well, this is more, we'll talk about this in the secret part, but the narcissistic parent discourages individualization and boundaries, and they're often enmeshed with their children. It's almost like if you are talking to someone and their parent is a narc, it's almost like, or you're dating someone that has a parent that's a narc, it's almost like you're dating their parent too. You know what I'm saying? Which I mean, you want to have a relationship with their parent, but it's like you're not having sex with their parent. Like the in-law wants to make it seem like, oh, it's like a three-way relationship, or it's a three-way connection. It's like, no, like there needs to be boundaries here. There needs to be space here. Like, you get what I'm saying? But in a cult, they don't recognize that. They don't see that. They're not used to that. There's also, and like I said, we'll follow up with this because I don't want to make this video too long now. Yeah, it's getting kind of long, y'all. Hold on. But yeah, and there's a lot of anxiety and depression that goes on here. So, when you're in these type of cults, you feel hopeless, you feel helpless, you feel stuck, you feel insecure, and there's always something going on. There's always some drama, there's always some gossiping, there's, you know what I'm saying? It says the intimate reinforcement the child receives from the parent is much like gambling. It says research has showed correlation between being raised by narcissistic parents and the development of anxiety, depression. Yeah, it says anxiety and managing hurdles that seem insurmountable. The second is they begin to realize that they're sacrificing everything for like the happiness of the cult. So it's like if you don't have your own life, you don't have the ability to be an individual. You're like, again, you're sacrificing yourself, you're sacrificing your own life to to stay in the cult for the rest of your life, and that can bring about anxiety and depression because it's like you're stuck, like you can't move, like you're restricted. So you just want to be careful about that, you guys. Okay, here, this is a good one. Appearances are more important than substance. So again, when it comes to the cult, the family members only care about how it appears. They only care about the image. It's not about how it truly is on the inside. It's not about how everyone's miserable, everyone's unhappy, everyone is just in denial and just having depression and anxiety and just really, really unhappy with themselves, right? No one's getting therapy, no one's getting counseling. It's just, it's crazy. So it's all about the looks, right? That a lot of narcissists are very about the image, very materialistic, very much like, oh, I have this, I have that, da 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 da. Like, I mean, it's good to have material stuff, but the narcissists, it's almost like they worship it. It's just like, But it says appearances are more important than substances. And you guys can go to psychologicaltoday.com. Also, Amanda Robbins psychotherapy.com.au. You guys can take a look at that as well here. But yeah. And you have to be in denial. Denial is rampant. In these families, rage is often normalized and denial may be rampant. So there's a lot of anger, a lot of rage, denial. You have to deny everything. You have to disassociate yourself with a lot of stuff. You have to pretend like it's not happening. You have to maybe distract yourself. You have to act like your family is, like healthy. You gotta just make up lies and make up, false accusations and pretend like something is not there and it is. Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's a lot of, things that goes on in the cults, right? But like I said, let's do a part 3 though, because I don't want to make this video too long, y'all. But let me get into the secrets though. So, and this actually did come from a person that was a narc or suspected narc, right? And I did mention that this did come from an individual that I knew back in 2021. This was a female covert narc. And like I said, most narcs, they all behave the same way. They all act the same way, right? But this individual told me, for one, that she was molested as a child and her mother was molested. But what I found to be ironic was she mentioned that her kids were all molested, and I'm thinking like, well, why were your kids molested? Because again, when you have to remember, when narcissists, when they have children, they don't really care about their children like that. They're not really active in their children's lives like that. They're more so focused on self, right? They're focused on maybe how they can look good to other people or how they can make it seem like they're a good parent, but they're only doing stuff because of the looks. They're only doing stuff because they can be made, other people can see them as like, oh, they did that. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking for that admiration. They're looking for that attention in that regards, but they're not doing anything specifically for their kids because of the love and the care. They're only doing it because it makes them look good, right? And sometimes you may have dysfunctional parents that may not be narcissistic. They may do that because, they like that gratification. They like to look down on people and stuff like that, or put people down to bring themselves up and stuff like, things like that. But anyways, But yeah, that could be a thing where, narcissists really truly don't have their kids' best interest. That's another secret in the cult, is that they really don't have good intentions for their kids. um and they will give their kids bad advice. And the cult family members work against each other. They may work together as a unit to try to, like, whether it's destroy somebody or sacrifice somebody or get something from a person. They may work together in that way, but deep down they really don't care about, each other like that. It's all about, self gratification and getting the things that they want, right? But the lady, she was telling me, she was like, oh, what she had did was, okay, so she mentioned that she um, had been molested. Now, and the thing is, she mentioned that she was molested by a friend of the family. So you have that going on. But like I said, she mentioned that her kids were molested too. So again, remember, the narcissists, they see their kids as an extension of themselves. So they feel like whatever happens to them, it has to happen to their kids. Whatever, the narcissist has been through, they feel like their kids have to go through that too. The other thing, she mentioned was that, she ended up coming out with it was like an illness. It was like she had diabetes or whatever. And she was like, oh yeah, I have this. And then what was crazy is that both of her kids ended up getting it too. Which I'm like, that is just too crazy. You guys get where I'm coming from? I'm just like, wow. What really got me was she mentioned that, she was in a relationship, and I want to say she was actually married. And you guys know what she told me? I guess, like, her and her husband, they was going through it, and, they ended up, spending some time apart, right? Or they broke up, whatever. They was on the verge of getting a divorce. But you guys know what she told me, that she didn't want to leave the relationship, or she didn't want it to be over. So she was willing to hurt her husband to the point where she would take his life. Meaning, she literally told me this, you guys, and I don't think she was lying about it either. She literally said that she was trying to poison his food and poison his drink, that she had put something in his drink and she wanted for him to drink it. And, that she was pretty much ready to wipe him out, take him out. You get what I'm saying? So, sometimes that's why I talked about those sacrifices, is that sometimes narcissists, the cults, they may try to set it up to where they can sacrifice certain people, or, they may sacrifice a particular person because they feel like, oh, if they can't have you, then nobody else can. Or if they feel like you have something that they want back, then they may try to sacrifice you, or they may try to get you to sacrifice yourself by doing little stuff every day, or they may have somebody else doing it to you every day, to the point where, they may try to get rid of you in some way. You get what I'm saying? And things like that. So, they will do that, or they will use the magic. They may pay somebody to use the magic against you and things like that. But yeah, the lady, she was telling me, she was like, yeah, she was willing to, like, poison her husband in order to either, to, like, not see him move on with someone. And that's the thing. A lot of narcissists, you guys got to be careful, is a lot of narcissists don't want to see you move on with anyone. They hate that. They do not want that for you, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what she had told me. And but yeah, the whole sacrifice thing. And you gotta be aware, is that, so let's say there's a plot to sacrifice somebody, they may get you to try to sacrifice yourself. Meaning, like, let's say they want you, they may try to get you to, like, lower your standards, like I said, or have you, like, not care about your life, or just kind of live reckless and just do whatever willy-nilly. Or they may try to sacrifice the person that, another person, because again, they feel like, you took something from them, or they feel like they're trying to get something back, and they made a bet to somebody and say, oh, I bet I can get that person. And so, they would look kind of foolish if it didn't go the way that they mentioned that it was supposed to have gone. And so, that's why they're trying to do something at all costs, because they have this, they told some people something and, it didn't happen. And so now, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't look good for the narcissist, if that makes sense. And like I said, they'll get their family involved too, and sometimes the narcissists, they'll do this to most of the people that they've been with. So like previous persons or previous partners that they've dealt with, they have done the same thing, to sometimes where those situations have gotten deadly, right? If they have hurt people based off of them not wanting to be with them, or them moving on with their lives and them rejecting them and them telling them no. They have hurt people because of this. It's gotten deadly here. You get what I'm saying? So again, you guys really, really got to be careful, and you really got to know what it is that you're dealing with. And they have, the members in the cult, they have said, hush, hush, don't say anything. Don't tell people about what has happened, or sometimes some of the cult members may lie about like certain people's, like, their death and things like that. They may lie and say, oh, this person was taken out this way, or they may have said, oh, it was a natural cause, but it was actually another way. Somebody could have maybe tried to poison a person, or somebody may have, done black magic on a person, or, they may have tried to hire somebody to do something to a person. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, narcissists will really go to these type of measures, you guys, to whether if it's to get money from somebody, to get a relationship, or to get a certain status. I'm telling you guys, this is what they do. This is their job. Like, it's crazy, right? I know it's crazy to hear, but like I said, somebody's gotta do it. Now, I know there may be a lot of people that may not like it, what I'm saying, but I want you guys to know that what I'm saying is it's not only based off of my experience dealing with narcissists and being around narcissists, living with them, but you have to remember too, like, God made it so that way I had to go through these situations so that way I can share this stuff with you guys. So if anyone has a problem with it, you have to take it up with God at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? Because God was the reason as to why I, had these experiences with the narcissist, so that way I could share it with you all. You get me? So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I know it may not be liked, but at the end of the day, what I care about is helping other people. I care about helping those that need to hear the information, so that way they can best protect themselves, protect their loved ones, and, protect their life. Because for some, your life could be at risk. You don't know what these narcissists are thinking about, and what kind of schemes and plans that they have with their family members or people that they've talked to. You don't know. You get what I'm saying? And so, but the good thing is that God is always in control. God loves you. I love you. And just know that it's going to be okay. But remember, you got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on your healing and recovery. Like I always say, allow the narcissist to do whatever it is that they're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's about you and your life, you and your future, and you just making the most of it and making the best of it. Because after all, you deserve to be happy after dealing with this abuser. Like, you get what I'm saying? You deserve to have peace. You deserve to have joy and happiness. Now, of course, the narcissist doesn't want that for you, but it is what it is. But anyway, I love you guys. And I would love to know, what was you guys' takeaway? I know this was a little longer than usual, but it had to be said. It had to, be heard. I know that there's different types of people listening in. It is what it is. So I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. If you guys want to learn more about how you can get supported from me, feel free to visit my website. You can go to livenarcfree.com. And I would love to support you in any way. You guys can reach out to me via email, which would be at livenarcfree9@gmail.com. And definitely, you can look at my products and my services. You can schedule on an appointment to book a session with me, or you can inquire about getting a reading with me, or you can inquire about getting any of my books. My books are available on Amazon, or you can go on my website. And things like that. Any courses, or if you would like to inquire about my 90-day coaching program about how to overcome narcissistic abuse, I would love to support you in that way. And also, I do offer unbiased personal advice. Just want to let you guys know it would be $10 per unbiased advice email. So just a heads up in regards to that. I know there was a few folks that reached out to me in regards to that. And also, don't forget to get a sugar scrub. And again, thank you guys for your support. I love you, love you, love you so much for doing that. Love the sugar scrub. And all that good stuff. So order a sugar scrub. Take care of yourself. Put yourself first. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. You're the best. All right. Until the next time. Take care. Bye, guys.